Commander Zix Thaler pressed her chitinous fingers against the neural interface, feeling the familiar tingle as her consciousness merged with the Void Whisper's sensory array. Through 1,000 different spectrums, she watched the approaching vessel with a mixture of curiosity and contempt. Primitive, she clicked to her second-in-command, Corvez. Look at it burning chemical fuel like some Stone Age relic. The Terran ship was indeed an ungainly thing, a massive wedge of gunmetal gray, trailing twin plumes of fusion exhaust. It moved with the lumbering grace of a wounded behemoth, its hull scarred and pitted from what must have been countless micrometeorite impacts. To the hegemony fleet, with their quantum fold drives and crystalline hulls that bent light itself, it seemed almost laughably archaic. Their electromagnetic signatures are chaotic, Corvez observed, his mandibles clicking in amusement. No wonder they took 3 centuries to crawl out of their birth system. How did such a species ever achieve spaceflight? Zix Thaler's compound eyes tracked the readouts. The Terran vessel, they called it, UES Indomitable, according to the crude radio transmissions, massed approximately 2 million tons. Large for a primitive vessel, but still dwarfed by the smallest ship in her hunting pack. Her own flagship alone outmassed it 5-1. Open a channel, she commanded. Let's see what passes for diplomacy among these creatures. The holographic display shimmered, revealing the bridge of the human ship. Zix Thaler suppressed a shudder of disgust. The beings were even more repulsive than the intelligence reports had suggested, soft, pale, and grotesquely symmetrical. Their leader, a graying male with the scarred face of a veteran, stepped forward. This is Admiral Marcus Chen of the United Earth Navy. You have entered human-controlled space. State your intentions. Zix Thaler's translator rendered his guttural speech into the melodic tones of high hegemony. She clicked her amusement. Human-controlled space. How droll. I am Commander Zix Thaler of the Hegemony War Fleet. You will prepare for boarding and taxation. Resistance will result in your immediate disintegration. The human's expression didn't change, but something in his eyes hardened. I see. Well, Commander, I have a counter-proposal. Turn your fleet around and leave. This is your only warning. The bridge of the Void Whisper erupted in chittering laughter. Warning? From a species that had barely mastered fusion power. Amusing, Zix Thaler replied. You command 1 antiquated vessel against 7 of the hegemony's finest. What possible threat could you? The transmission cut abruptly. On the tactical display, the Terran ship was changing. The scarred hull plating was retracting, revealing something underneath that made Zix Thaler's blood chill. By the great void, Corvez whispered, those aren't battle scars. The Indomitable's true nature was revealing itself. What they had taken for damage was actually a cunningly designed shell, a disguise. Beneath the false exterior lay something that defied every assumption about human technology. The ship's mass was redistributing, unfolding like some mechanical flower of destruction. Emergency sensors, full spectrum. Zix Thaler shrieked, but it was already too late. The human vessel's energy readings spiked beyond anything in the hegemony's databases. Where fusion drives had burned moments before, space itself began to writhe and twist. The Indomitable wasn't just using advanced technology, it was wielding physics itself as a weapon. How? The answer came in the form of a transmission, somehow bypassing their shielding and appearing directly on their neural networks. Admiral Chen's face was grim, but unsurprised. 300 years ago, when humanity first achieved spaceflight, we discovered something. We weren't the first intelligence to evolve in this galaxy. We found the ruins of 17 different civilizations, all destroyed by the same pattern by species like yours, Commander. Predators who saw younger races as prey. The Indomitable continued its transformation. What had appeared to be a primitive battleship was now clearly something else, entirely a construct of such technological sophistication that the hegemony's sensors could barely comprehend it. We learned from those ruins, Chen continued. We learned about quantum consciousness transfer, about zero-point energy manipulation, about technologies that your hegemony is still centuries away from understanding. But most importantly, we learned to hide. Zix Thala felt her exoskeleton crack under stress. Impossible. Our intelligence networks saw exactly what we wanted them to see. Did you really think a species could develop interstellar travel by accident? Every human colony ship that barely escaped your scouts, every primitive outpost that your raiders destroyed, all carefully orchestrated. We needed to study you, to understand your capabilities. The space around the Indomitable was now folding in ways that hurt to perceive. Reality itself seemed to bend around the vessel, like water around a stone. The ruins taught us one other thing. Chen's voice carried a note of finality. Sometimes, the only way to protect the innocent is to ensure the predators can never hunt again. Warning klaxons screamed throughout the hegemony fleet, as their ships' hulls began to resonate with impossible harmonics. The Indomitable wasn't just weaponizing space-time, it was weaponizing the fundamental forces that held matter together. Please, Zix Thala found herself saying, her pride crumbling along with her certainty. We can negotiate. No, Admiral Chen replied. You can't. The last thing Commander Zix Thala saw was light, not the clean radiance of her ship's destruction, but something far more profound. For a brief, terrifying moment, she glimpsed the true scope of human civilization, not the struggling colonies her spies reported, but a network of hidden worlds spanning half the galaxy, all connected by technology that made her fleet look like Taegis. Then the light consumed everything, and the hegemony learned in the microseconds before